So 281, today we're talking about some standouts in yesterday's matchup between Ottawa and Chicago, a game in which we saw Chicago. They came back and it was sort of a back and forth game for most of it. And they were able to hold the lead for the majority of the game, and then they ended up winning 4-3 in overtime with the pass from Frank Nazar over to Connor Bedard, or the other way around, from Bedard over to Nazar. And Frank Nazar ended up scoring, gets the OT winner. And speaking of which, since we're on the topic of Connor Bedard, he had a two-goal game, one assist, 3 points. Just an excellent way to finish off the season finale for him. He played all 82 games this season, and which is really good for him. He first time ever he's played a full 82 game season in the NHL and had a great year and surpassed his point total slightly compared to last year. Points per game is a little bit different relative to last year, but he was still very productive in yesterday's game, had some really nice highlight reel plays and two highlight reel goals. His first shot was off the rush. He ended up beating Tyler Clevin from inside out maneuver, ended up wristing the puck in the back of the net. And the second goal was a nice curl and drag release and just a really excellent display of skill, finesse, and overall shooting ability on that play. And he looked really good throughout this game. I think the entirety of it, he was standing out and he was able to make a lot of really nice plays and make a lot of high level plays in small areas, which is really good to see. And obviously, you want that from him. He's the heartbeat essentially of your team, and you need him to be playing at his best. And he did that yesterday. So it's one of the reasons why the Hawks ended up winning. He got two of their four goals and ended up contributing on three of them in total. So he was really productive. I really liked his game. I really liked how he's creating offense and how he's just engaged offensively and how he was supporting his teammates, how he's competing in one-on-one battles, and just all over the ice. He's the best player on the ice for Chicago and in this game, in my opinion, as well. And then outside of that, we could talk about guys like Tyler Bertuzzi and Ryan Donato, Nick Foligno. I thought Nick Foligno was very effective throughout this game, just playing against his former team, the team that he started his career with. And he had an assist in this game. He's noticeable. I really like Sam Rinsell, and I've really liked him over the last, I would say, 3, 4 games or so. He's really picked up the pace in his game, and I think he's added layers to his game. Even just having a short tenure in the NHL, he made his NHL debut on March 30th, and after that, he's just been propelling himself. He just looked so much better over the course of time. He's been up and down pairings. He ended up starting his career with Wyatt Kaiser on a pair, two Minnesota guys. Then he ended up working his way up. Now he was on a pairing with Alex Vlasic for the last handful of games, and those two looked absolutely terrific together. And I would imagine heading into camp next year, it's going to be a pairing that might actually end up happening long term. I think Sam Renzel is going to be a guy that doesn't need time in the AHL. I think he's going to be a guy that plays the full 82 game season next year, barring any injury issues or not, for Chicago next year. I think the way he plays stylistically is something the Hawks need on the blue line, and he could be an offensive guy too. I think he could really weaponize his offensive style of play, and that could really translate to his first full season in the NHL next year. Outside of that, thought Oliver Moore was very effective. He's ramped up the physicality in his game a little bit more, I think, and really showed that physical side of his game. And not only in terms of forechecking, but just being able to track back and being able to recover in those situations as well. And then Kevin Korchinski, I liked his game as well. And the way he's moving the puck, the way he's moving D-to-D plays. The one thing I still question, and this is something I question with Artie Levshunov too, and Korchinski, those two guys, the decision-making aspects within their hockey IQ and their puck-moving decisions and their D-zone decisions. I think those are two instances where both Artie Levshunov and Kevin Korchinski both struggle in right now. And as young defensemen, I think they're bound to struggle a little bit, and it's going to be a little bit natural for them. But I think with Korchinski, there's a little bit more D-zone issues when it comes to man-on-man coverage and being able to understand how to rotate and how to not necessarily use his feet. He's a good skater. He's really smart in terms of when to jump and when to be aggressive offensively without the puck. But at the same time, I think there's still some situations where he sometimes moves pucks into bad areas, sometimes in D zone. He doesn't really understand how to defend certain situations, and I think some of it's gonna come with time. Also, you have to remember that he's played half the year in the AHL and a majority of the year in the AHL, so I think that's also a factor with him. But long term, there's still upside there, and I thought he was really noticeable. And then Ryan Green, who made his NHL debut in Montreal, looked really effective in this game. So second game in the NHL for him, and he just played great. I thought he was really noticeable off the rush and transition with the puck. I think that's his best asset is his transition ability and how he uses that with speed. And if he's able to get interior with the puck on his stick and be able to assertively attack the middle, he's actually pretty dangerous with the puck. And I think he's going to be a not necessarily a full-time NHLer right out of the gate next year, but I would imagine he's going to start the year in Rockford and transition up from there. So we'll see how it goes with him. As for Ottawa's side, I like Dylan Cousins' game and his ability to manipulate, his ability to get through pressure, his ability to get around guys one on one, and was showing that skill and speed that he usually had shown a few years ago when he was playing at his best in Buffalo. And I think this high level skill is still going to be there. And I think heading into the playoffs for Ottawa, he could be a really effective player for them. And I really liked his game. I really like the speed that he brings, and I think he fits Ottawa's style of play so well. Drake Batherson, who had a goal in this game, just was noticeable interior and noticeable with his slot positioning, his ability to get off coverage and be able to elude checks and stuff like that. He's really noticeable there. And then Thomas Chabot, I really liked his play, his two-way play, his transition play, his offensive ability, just his ability to be well-rounded as a defenseman, be active all over the ice was something intriguing to watch and something that he was really doing a great job of bringing in on a regular basis. And then Nick Cousins was the other guy who was really noticeable for Ottawa, who was just creating havoc and as he usually does, always involved physically, always involved in after whistle stuff, the scrums, all that sorts of stuff. So he's always engaged there. I think with Nick Cousins, you're getting a guy who's just relentless in terms of his compete level and his work ethic and how he's able to leverage that on the fourth line for Ottawa and just be involved in many different situations for them as well.